This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
Good evening, Fox fans. How the devil are we? Welcome along to a bit of a special. We've just sort of shoehorned this into the schedule of the announcement of the fixtures today. First of all, though, let me start by just congratulating Wales. Great win. I actually was supposed to go into a Wales chat earlier, and I was late. And I did actually say, oh, have I missed the penalty, or was that just Gareth Bale? Hey, bum bum. Okay, this is Leicester Till I Die TV. We are here to have a quick look at the fixtures. You can catch us live now on the old Facebook, because it's there, Leicester Till I Die, the group. On YouTube, which is that one, Leicester Till I Die TV. And the old Twitter at Leicester TID. And if you are watching or you have got YouTube, please go on to it and give us a subscribe. It's kind of come to a bit slow, which I kind of guessed it might do around this time of the pre-season. But keep subscribing. Press that subscribe, press that bell, press everything. But if you've got a little button there, you press it. Don't let the wife stop you. I'll tell you. Good evening. Hey, it is fixture release day. Let's bring my colleagues in and we'll have a chat and go through them. So we're going to say good evening to Brad. How you doing?
Evening, Chris. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm not too bad, thanks.
Have you been pressing your buttons?
Yes, I have. I've been pressing all the buttons, and I got banned from the site by doing that. It's accidental.
And here's somebody I know that presses his buttons. Scott, good evening, sir.
Hi, guys. You all right?
Yeah, we're good. Thanks. See you.
Yeah, good, mate.
Thanks.
Brilliant. I'm going to, before we actually start going through the fixtures, got some breaking news, because of course we're looking at the pre-seasons here, and I'm going to have to just show you we have got a breaking news about an extra
North Macedonia are going to win it. Get your bets on. You heard it here first. North Macedonia are going to wipe the floor of the tournament. Shock of the decade, shock of the century, you name it. You thought 5,000 to 1 was good odds. Well, listen to it. Get your bets in. North Macedonia to not just get out of the group, but they're going to win it. North Macedonia, come on.
What are you? Some kind of doomsday machine, boy?
Sorry, Brad. Couldn't resist it. Are you still there? I mean, they've lost the first game. Are you still rooting?
Yeah. I mean, it was a bit of a shock defeat. They were holding the game 1-1. I was quite optimistic at that point, but they still scored more than Scotland, so they're still doing better than certain teams in the competition. Who knows? There's still a long way to go. If they get third, they can still get through that way. I'll still back them. I've got more faith in them than some other teams. Up the North Macedonia.
Scott, you go. Looking back at that, I have to question if Brad was pissed or not.
No, to be honest, like I said in the other podcast that we did, I still fancy North Macedonia to be able to sneak through into the next stages.
I think you're both pissed. That's all I'll say.
But drinking.
Yeah. If you ever want to catch up with that video, it is on the Leicester Till I Die TV YouTube site. Well, to start, Scott, I'm going to come to you first of all with this one. Give Brad a little bit of a break for a second. Now I've destroyed him. I brought this up. Is it such a big thing? I mean, who we play, when we play, because there's so many changes as you go during the year. And I noticed sort of when I put it up at sort of 9 o'clock this morning, I do actually have a policy, as Brad will tell you, I don't allow duplicate posts. And normally in the past, I would have been deleting 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sort of posts all saying who we've got first. And I think it was 2 this morning. Are people really bothered, or is it just the fact that we've got the Euros at the moment?
To be honest, you've only got to look at last season. Everyone were beating everyone, and some of the score lines that were coming up were ridiculous. So, any team can beat any team on the day. It just depends on who turns up and who doesn't.
You disagreed with me, Brad. You thought it was still quite an important day in the calendar of events for football.
Yeah, although I do see the arguments against, like where you're coming from in your points, because it is sort of like a dying tradition almost with football fans. It used to be something we all got excited about. More so, especially newly promoted sides. They want to see who they're getting first game of the season. I'm sure Norwich fans are delighted to have another 5-4 game with Liverpool first game of the season. But there is less and less care about it. Again, money and TV rights. I wouldn't say killing the game. They're good for the game for those that can't get to games. Obviously, we enjoy being able to see our teams play as often as we can with Sky and BT. But it kind of takes the effect out of it because these games can get moved. These games can get changed. And I suppose in Leicester's case, apart from Aston Villa and Wolves, who aren't even really East Midlands, the Midlands, but they're not rivals, we haven't really got anybody that excites us in that group, in our league, in the way that, say, the bigger teams do. And sometimes that has an effect. So I guess to a degree, it also depends who you support on how excited you get. I'm sure Liverpool, Everton fans will be noting down their dates in the diary or that time to try and get work off if they're early doors. But it is a dying tradition, but I do understand why people do get excited and get up early to see who they're playing opening game.
I mean, Scott, we know that we're going to have a lot of games moved for telly and what have you. I mean, next season, let's be hoping, and it's going to sort of have a knock-on effect on me because obviously I've relied a lot on the telly living down on the south coast. But if Leicester, have a season like we've had for the past couple of seasons, we're going to be on the telly a lot more. So we are going to have matches changed, but it goes with the success, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So some of the fixtures at the minute that we're looking at, me and Brad will probably turn around and say, look, you expect 3 points out of that game, so on and so forth. But as soon as it comes down to the fixture pile up and things like that, we'll probably have a different perspective halfway through the season.
Yeah. Just say hello to Melina. Thanks for joining us. Get back to work, young lady. And hello to Ankit. How are you doing? He's tuned in to see when we're playing Chelsea next season. I'm sure that's exciting. Yeah. But let's get into it. Let's get into it and have a look what the games are. Like I say, and it's not so much, I don't think, it's sort of the actual days that they're being played. It's just sort of the month. I think the fact that we've got those in that month, I can't even get my words out. So let's start, guys, with April and May here. If it will work, there we go. Starting off at Wolves. So that's not a home game, and you say we haven't really got any East Midlands rivals, but they are, I suppose, local as we're probably going to get, aren't they, Brad?
Yeah. Unfortunately, if you're looking at the track record between Leicester and Wolves over the last few seasons, that's probably got 0-0 written all over it. So we could be we could be looking at the only 0-0 of the opening game of the season, which I obviously no fan wants to be seeing for the opening game of the season. But it's nice to see a home game. It's always nice, especially depending on the situation. Come 4 weeks' time, come August, probably closer to it, we'll know exactly how many fans were allowed in the ground. We'll see if that number's increased from what it was against Spurs at the end of last season. So it'd be nice just to kickstart, get that fan atmosphere. And obviously, it's always nice to have a little bit of spice between it. It's the closest we've got to rivalries this season, Wolves and Villa, like I say. So could be a good opener, but let's hope history doesn't repeat itself and it's not a boring 0-0 or 1-1 opener.
I mean, my first thought when I saw that was our opening game, because obviously that was the first thing that you saw on the internet when it was coming up, was like, great, we've got a team here that's we've gone in, they've already gone into the sort of the transfer window, haven't appointed officially yet a new manager, although we know what it's going to be look like. So, but they're going to be coming in with a new manager. It could be a good start for us. But then I'm thinking, I remember saying that against the Hull team that had just got promoted.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm quite fearful of playing Wolves at start of season. I think it's one of those that it could be very edgy, and like Brad says, I can see it being either a 0-0 or a 1-1 sort of thing. I don't see there being an awful lot of entertainment in the first game of the season.
No. And going to say hi to Dan from Turf Moorhouse TV. Welcome along, mate. Get over there and get watching his channel. It's a new channel he's set up, Turf Moorhouse. It's not easy for me to say with my teeth. TV on YouTube. Give the guy a sub. He does a lot of good work over there, even though he is from Burnley. And how's the missus, by the way, Dan? Is she still not talking to me? we won't go there though. We won't go there. So, those that know. Brad, looking at the month as a whole, it isn't a bad start. 3 games there. I mean, Wolverhampton, West Ham could be a bit difficult, and Norwich, we've had worse starts.
We've had worse starts, but like Scott said, it's always easier on paper than it is before you play them, because sometimes some people argue they want to get the harder games out of the way so that they're actually happier to see maybe a difficult start because it really tests you early doors. The squad has to be at the races. It's easy to say that they look easy, and if you ask me right now, first 3 games bad, how many points do you expect to take? I'd expect to take 7 from them games. But it's also them fixtures that Leicester fans will look a bit nervously on if after the first 2 we've only got a point on the board. So it will depend on how the results go. If they match the expectations, then it is a very advantageous start to have. It is something that can be quite crucial in the season, can't it, to have a good start. Yes. So hopefully the expectations are matched by who we're playing.
Yeah, Dan is the only one who I know whose channel has sort of thunder sound effects. He says it's thunder, but I think he's just drinking too much gassy drinks, eh? Thankfully, Dan, it comes up and not down. I mean, Scott, we've got to play everybody at some point, haven't we? So, but are you happy with that first month?
Yeah. First game of the season, like I said, I'm a bit concerned about. Could go one or 2 ways. But when you look at the likes of West Ham and Norwich, you would imagine getting, well, I'd expect 4 points out of the 2 games.
And Brad, I mean, hello, Mad Jason. How are you doing? I've got an agent. Apparently, I didn't realise, but I've got an agent. Ankit, you can be my agent here. Chris is the funniest person on YouTube lately, and that's just from looking at me. That's not even listening to me.
Keep transferring him all the funds.
yeah. Keep that commission coming in there, Ankit. The thing I think with West Ham, before we move into May, though, Brad, is that I know David Moyes has just signed a new contract, but I always remember when he was at Everton, they had 1 good season, 1 iffy season, 1 good season, 1 iffy season. So there's no, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think, can he do it for a second year running, or was that West Ham's year?
I think you never know. I mean, obviously, you never know. We're all sat here making assumptions before a ball's even kicked. It could depend how they start their first game. If they get absolutely done over, I don't know who they've got first game, but if they get done over in the first game 2 or 3-0, you're probably going to. I can't remember West Ham being consistent, let alone David Moyes, in terms of where they finish each season. That they're up and down. They're like the yo-yo that never gets relegated in the last few seasons, aren't they? They used to be the up and down boys, didn't they? They used to go down and come back up, but now they kind of hit 14th, and that's as low as a yo-yo goes, and then it springs up every so often to where they did this last season. But they're probably going to lose a few key players, and West Ham probably want to get rid of a few players that aren't constantly fit. They probably want to do some rotations. But I think you're probably right though, Chris. The thing is, West Ham could go and tear it up, or they could end up having another season which West Ham fans have become frustratingly accustomed to, which is a battle down at the bottom again.
Rich, we're going to say well done, Wales. And Rich, you did miss my congratulations at the start of the show, but like I said, I think I missed most of the match, unlike Gareth Bale, who just missed a penalty. But at the end of the day, you didn't need that. So well done. God, that hurts me to say that. Well done, Scott. Going into September, there. I'm just going to wait for it to come round again. Starts to get a little bit more difficult. We've got Manchester City, then we've got Brighton, and then we've got Burnley. Now, I've got Brighton as being, again, down near the bottom. A lot of people have actually got them down as relegation fodder. Sorry about this, Dan, but as you know, I've got Burnley to go down next season. So, again, nicely spread out. It's not a lot of difficult games altogether.
Yeah, it's one of those when you've got Manchester City, you don't expect to get anything realistically. If you get a point, great. If you get 3 points, even better. But when you look at the likes of how Brighton played last season and how Burnley played last season, it's a case of even with a weakened Leicester team, I still see us getting the 6 points out of them 2 games.
Brad, do you like the look of set? I love the fact that, like I say, we haven't got like 3 hard games together and they're being mixed up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're exploring this month by month, but for anyone who already knows what we're talking about in regards to our entire fixture list, without changes being a due for it, it's pretty much very, very good all the way through for not getting too many difficult games in a cluster like we have been accustomed to over the past 2 seasons. And Man City being at home, I think it's more of a chance of getting something from the game because we're at home. We'll have the home support. We normally tend to nick a result. We tend to nick a result off Man City at least one game a season. And the thing is, I don't get this XG stylist football that Brighton get. All these new raving millennials that rave about XG, saying Brighton were one of the best. They're currently trying to get Danny Welbeck, who's the most injury-prone striker I've ever met, to sign a new contract. So they're not going to get everybody saying, "Oh, Brighton get a striker, and Brighton get a striker," and that XG they'll fly up the league. They're clearly not doing it. I think that could actually be a more advantageous month than people might recognise. I think there's a potential if we get our random 3 points against Man City at home and somehow sneak a win against them. I think we could get a maximum points from that. That looks like a very healthy month for Leicester.
Yes. Rich is just saying, Rich, and do again, Rich is a Man United fan, but he has a great channel. He does a lot of non-Man United stuff. He's also a Wales fan, so he's really in a happy mood tonight. But he's got a Turkey fan coming on his show tonight, so that should be a meaty discussion, shouldn't it? Do you see what I did there?
I like that.
Come on.
Turkey fan might get
I'm working with very, very thin material here, you know. Right. Okay. That's the first 2 months, and I think, you know, we could, just looking back at that there. I mean, let me just bring it back up. What do you think, guys? I mean, I'm looking at possibly 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points, possibly.
I reckon you could definitely get 12 to 14 points out of that game, out of them opening 6 fixtures. There's at least 2 in each set a month that look very winnable from a Leicester's point of view. So that's at least 12 points. And then anywhere in between, anywhere over that is an extra bonus. I think Leicester fans would, if they're being realistic and looking at it, that's at least 12 points available in the first 6 games.
The problem we're going to have, though, Scott, is if we don't have a good start with that, you know, first 2 months with the fixtures, we could be looking at not having the best season.
Yeah, but I think you've got to look at the last couple of seasons on how we've played and how we've started. The last couple of seasons, we've done quite well, and I like Brad was saying, I can't see it. I think realistically, you've got to look at it that at least 2 fixtures every month, you should be getting 6 points. So anything more than that is obviously a bonus, as Brad has stated.
Yeah, no, I agree. So fingers crossed that we get a really good start there. So we move into October and November, gentlemen. I say gentlemen, I should have gone to Specsavers, shouldn't I? We're looking at October. Again, I mean, she's probably not in, so I'm actually probably safe to say this, but Palace, who again are a lot of people's, you know, in a lot of people's bottom 3. Yeah, we've got Man United, but you know they've not proved that difficult this season. Brentford, and let's be honest with you, Arsenal shouldn't be that difficult, should they? So again, you know, and November, Leeds and Watford in there. So again, nicely spread out. But October, you've got to be looking at minimum of 2 wins, I would say, if not 3 and a draw.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at that October, and if we're going off what we saw last season, from the respective teams, obviously I know Brentford and Watford are promoted sides, so it's hard to judge them because they're the new boys. But if you look at what you're expecting to do in a squad like Leicester, who are consistent, and I'm going to say consistent because they've done it now for 2 seasons, we are consistent challengers for European football. So if you had the expectation to what we're, depending on how strong our home record is, because we know we can't seem to only get one of them right, don't we? We had last year we were really good away from home, but lost a fair chunk at home, and the season before it was vice versa. So you're looking at them games and going, Man U at home, Arsenal at home, it probably boosts your expectations. I would like to say we could probably, maybe I'm going to get shot down here, but that looks like a month that you could get a good haul of points for. I would expect to pick up, again, like we're saying in September, I'd like to pick up 14 odd points in that month because of who you're playing.
Rich saying there, obviously the Man United fan, that you can see an L there on the 16th. Well, I think if we do get an L on the 16th, that'll be the first one we've lost in about a season and a half against you, Rich. So yeah, I think you might be. I think you're the one that might be just grasping there. He does make the point here because Scott and Rich makes a very good point here. We've obviously at this point going to have Europa League games on a Thursday, so that's going to be thrown into the mix. But let's hope we make the signings we need without letting a lot of players go to increase the size of the squad.
Yeah, we have got Europa League, and you know I'm quite looking forward to that. When you look at how we played last season within it, it was very high energy a lot of the time. Obviously, we struggled with injuries and things like that. So hopefully, with the signings that I've seen we've been linked with, I do feel a bit more optimistic in being able to play, say, every Thursday and Sunday during that period.
Yeah. And Rich, I mean, you know what it's like to play on a Thursday because you didn't quite make it in the Champions League and had to drop down into the Europa League. So you tell us what it's like to play on a Thursday and at the weekend as well. But Brad, yeah, we've got, like you say, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace and Brentford definitely wins. And if we're looking at this season, surely Arsenal should be as well. Brad.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it, and I get the point that's being put on about the Europa League. Hello?
Hello?
You hear me?
Yeah, I think you've... Yeah, you froze for a bit there.
Hello? Yeah, you can hear me? Sorry,
Yeah.
Oh, it's because it doesn't freeze on my end, and when you randomly shout my name out, it throws me off. All right, that's brilliant.
Well, you
I mean,
froze.
you're expecting to do it, aren't you, against Arsenal?
Yeah.
No, sorry, go on, what were you saying?
No, I asked you the question. You froze.
I think you're doing this on purpose. I'm going to watch this back. I think you're doing this on purpose to me. No, I agree. Yeah, looking at where we are and looking at where the teams are based right now, regardless of transfers and ins and outs, you would say that Arsenal from last season, they look absolutely beat. I think they're going to have a troubling season. They're missing out on signings left, right, and centre. They're really getting desperate on a certain Arsenal fan TV channel, linking themselves with every names under the sun. They're not the team they used to be, and they've got to accept that this year and build properly. Probably build with the players that aren't going to just jump ship or demand 300 grand a week. I think they're going to be beatable by quite. I don't think Arsenal have the fear factor for coming into the season either, which is what teams like Liverpool, Manchester United, and Man City have built themselves up to have. Arsenal are one of the first, in my opinion, of the top four from the 2000s that you consider a side that let that grip go. You know, they're a team that no one fears, and you saw that last season. Nobody fears Arsenal, so I think it's almost one of them that, in the weirdest way, you'd be disappointed not to nick 4 points off them over the course of the season.
I'm not sure who this is on Facebook user, but, you know, like you said, we'll be champions by March, so we won't have to worry about the remaining games. It's funny, I've watched a couple of these shows where they've gone through the fixtures. I was watching Dan's earlier, and none of us are actually predicting a lot of losses for our own team. It's amazing. And Rich, you know, you're asking Mel if she's found a sensible Arsenal fan. I don't think there is a sensible Arsenal fan out there, is there? I mean, you know, that's a contradiction in terms. Scott, how many points do you see us getting in October?
Well,
I mean, we've got Palace, Man United, Brentford, and Arsenal.
I'd be happy with 8 points.
And Brad?
Yeah.
I would honestly take 9, and just to be nice, I'd rather us beat Manchester United, beat Arsenal, beat Palace, and then maybe Europa League we decide to rest the players if we haven't got transfers and it's around the Brentford game. Maybe we give Brentford a boost in their bid to try and stay up, and that's where we drop points. Well, I can see 9 points from that. I think we might
you can see it's doing a Fulham with Brentford. No, I'm probably going to go with Scott there and say, I think 8 points would be good. But again, we've had 3 good months where it's been a nice mix of, you know, not a lot of hard games together but not a lot of easy games together. November, we go away to Leeds, home to Chelsea, home to Watford. Again, a nice mix of games, Scott.
See, I'm looking at them games, and apart from Watford, bear in mind we've got Arsenal before Leeds, and then you've got Chelsea after that. Leeds last season were very in your face and very full of high energy. So if you've got, say, a Europa League team that we've got to play just before them, I could see us dropping points against likes of Leeds. So I reckon November could be our sort of doomsday month, so to speak.
I would be happy with 5 points from that. What about you, Brad? Do you think it'd be 5, or do you think that, I mean, Leeds had a very good season, but, it was the first season we've seen that happen. And then look at Sheffield United this year.
Yeah. Looking at it as it is, I'd actually be happy with 4 points from that, because I agree with Scott. I think Leeds away is going to be a very difficult test, and whilst we have a fairly decent record against Chelsea since our return to the Premiership at the King Power, more so than Stamford Bridge, it's not going to be easy. And we're trying to make these off current squads, because we can't make them off knowing our depth with what we've got. So I'd be happy with 4 points. There's always a month that, a Christmas aside, is normally a do or die month. And I agree with Scott. This could be one that we kind of have to scrape through and make sure we don't lose 3 in a row. Because if you do that, that's when you don't want to be in bad form going into December. So if we could get through that with 4 points, I'd be fairly happy with that, considering the fact that Watford at home.
Yeah, and I wish I started to make a note of how many points we're going to get. I'll maybe go back and work it out afterwards. But December, always a busy month, and we're going to look at that straight after this.
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts.
Again, one of those. I hope it played at your end, guys, because it didn't at mine. So let's go into Ankit's Maddison to Chelsea. Yeah, we're not talking transfers tonight, mate. That's just another rumour. He doesn't want to go and warm a bench. But let's have a look at December. And where are we here? Busy month. It always is in December. And as always, look at those, December, Christmas. It's like having all the old family round, isn't it? We see them every Christmas, Brad.
Yeah, Man City and Liverpool. I joked to you, didn't I? It was like that spell we seem to always draw Spurs in the FA Cup for flipping round.
Yeah.
They always come around. But again, and obviously we don't know. I know the Europa League fixtures by this point would probably still. I don't know if we'd still be in the group stages or at knockout stages. So we don't know where we'd be in the competition.
December, there's no games in December.
Brilliant.
So
brilliant.
Yeah.
So it was a clear fixture list. So we've only got like the 83 games to play in December. That's good. We don't have to add any more to the list.
Yeah.
I think this is one of them where I would be happy with 10 sort of points, maybe. Yeah, I'd be happy with sort of 10 points, because you've got some strong teams in there, and if the likes of Everton, Liverpool, Man City are on form, you're going to struggle to take points off them. I mean, we've got our customary 9-0 in there, because that's due back round to us again, isn't it? To share with Manchester United. So
we'll they had it last season. It's our turn again, isn't it?
Yeah. And obviously, the closest thing again we've got to a Midlands rival in Aston Villa, so you'd like to go there and give them their customary 4-goal beating. It's going to be a difficult time of month. There's going to be recoveries. We don't know what squad will be available, if they're fit, injured. Whatever we've got, we might be throwing. We could be in a right disaster by that point, and we might be looking to hopefully get 3 or 4 points. Hopefully not, but I would like to say we could get 9 to 10 points from that list.
And Scott, you got to be looking at having a good start. We got Southampton, Villa, Newcastle. They are all winnable. Spurs, well, we know it could go either way with Spurs, and then Everton before the Manchester City and Liverpool. We know what we've had. That good start in December is going to be vital, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those that you've got to get off at the front foot. If you're not looking at a minimum of 7 points over the first 3 fixtures within December, I think we could be, we will be in trouble, so to speak, by recent standards within seasons. I still feel that we could possibly nick something from Liverpool just before the new year.
That would be nice, and that would make a change as well. I thought when you said that, I thought you were just going to automatically say Man City, to be honest with you, because we have nicked them off Man City in recent history. But Liverpool, they do like to give us a good stuffing at Christmas. No pun intended.
You're not half wrong there, mate. I'll tell you that, mate. There's been some tough times against Liverpool around Christmas.
The thing is, guys, and we don't know what's going to happen. And I saw it kind of mentioned for the first time. Is of course this is going to be. I think next season is going to have the World Cup on. That's next year, isn't it?
Yeah,
or is that the end of this year?
No, I believe it'd be the 2022 because I can't imagine they'd run it this year with the Euros rescheduled. I believe that'd be next season, which means we'd have a winter break, which I don't get it because wasn't the whole thing told to be an absolute blackmail anyway? But they still haven't. Don't get me started, Chris, because I've heard so much reports.
All I'm thinking is, would that have a knock-on effect at this point, this coming season, or is that too soon? Do you think, Scott?
No, I don't think it'll have much of an effect this season. It's one of those we were already taking part within the Euros as it is. Like Brad says, I can't see it being this year that we have the World Cup, I don't see it having an effect at all.
No. So we then hopefully come out of Christmas still alive and have the good start, which I think, like I say, that's the thing with December. We are going to have a good start. January, we've got 2 homes, 1 away. Obviously, we've got an FA Cup tie in there as well. January could be very nice to us, and I think having had that Liverpool, Man City end of December with Tottenham in there as well. And I say no disrespect to these teams, but again on paper that should be 3 easy games. February, the return trip of Liverpool, West Ham, Wolverhampton, Chelsea. That could be one of our hardest months. But Brad, January, you got to be looking at 9 points there, haven't you?
I think you do, and that's regardless of how we fare going into that. I mean, the end of December's incredibly difficult as it looks on paper, anyway. But regardless of our form, I think what Leicester fans would like to see is, even if we don't get the points we're hoping to get, if we can come out of Man City and Liverpool, especially with some decent performances, you can lose. But as long as you play well, fans will understand it more when you're playing them sort of caliber sides, and that could be the damage limitation. If we can plug it then and go 3 wins on the bounce in January, the hectic Christmas period becomes a thing of the past, and all of a sudden we're back on track. December is an absolute killer for everybody. But if you can come out of December with a few wounds and nick a few points here and there and not do too bad, you have to make sure you take advantage of the following month. And having 3 games in January, interesting, depending on who we draw. It'd be interesting to see who we start our defence of a certain FA Cup. Did you not mention that, Chris?
Yes.
Because we're defending the FA Cup. We're defending it because we win it.
Actually,
did you know that, Chris?
Seeing as you've mentioned the FA Cup, I just think it's time for this, isn't it?
Leicester Till I Die TV. The home of the FA Cup winners 2021.
Oh, and we have a Premier League trophy too.
Just thought I'd let you mention it, mate, because we don't mention it enough on this channel, do we, Scott and Chris? We don't mention it.
No, not enough.
Every opportunity, Scott, throw the FA Cup in there, Andy says, at least at home New Year's Days is normally hanging. Aren't we all, mate? Aren't we all? It's nice to have a home fixture. But again, Scott, you've got to be happy with January. And I think, I say no disrespect to those clubs, but coming out of, whether it's hard games or easy games, there's just a hell of a lot of games in December. And I think to come out and not be looking at thinking, well, we've got to play Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea in January, that should be some sort of New Year relief, shouldn't it?
You would say that, but am I right in thinking that the African Cup of Nations is supposed to be taking place over January and February? Which, if that's the case, then we could have the likes of Ndidi and Iniacho that won't be playing for us.
You are quite right. I do believe there. Yes.
I thought that got cancelled again. I thought there was or am I thinking about the Copa America that I've seen something of? I thought that got moved again.
The Copa America is going on at the moment, I think, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Oh, see, I just saw something about one of them two things, but it's going to be
Let's have a
interesting.
look.
But it's weird, isn't it? How they can have a competition and every club has to go along, but we can't play international friendlies and the whole world stops. But apart from that, it'd be interesting. But again, this is why it's pivotal that Leicester do their transfer business right, isn't it, Scott? Because Ndidi has been a big cog for numerous years. I'd like to think that we're not going to, and there's no disrespect to him because he did a great job last season, but it'd be nice to feel more secure than just having Mendy as the backup while he's away on duty potentially, while Chris is finding out and just confirming.
According to this, sorry, Scott, do carry on.
I'm led to believe, Brad, that it's Ndidi as well that could be going to the African Cup of Nations, so that really could leave us in a whole world of mess. Like formations and that would have to get changed. So when you're looking at the three fixtures that we have got up to play, it could be a huge turnaround sort of thing.
Definitely.
Right, so I'm just checking here. Apparently, what has been cancelled was just the draw. So the draw was cancelled. I mean, and the actual Cup of Nations itself runs from the 9th of January until the 6th of February. So again, it's a very good point, that, Scott. A very, very good point. But do you think that, that's probably the fact that we are going to lose some players? So maybe the fact that we've got, the Norwich, the Burnley, and the Brighton will do us better than if we'd lost those players and we'd got Liverpool, a Chelsea, and a Man United.
Oh yeah, I still think we should get the 9 points out of the three fixtures. But obviously, with having the likes of Ndidi, Mendy, Iniacho potentially out of the team, it could be a lot more difficult than what obviously Brad had first thought, sort of thing.
But then again, Brad, looking at this season, we lost a lot of key players, and we're having to play a lot of youngsters and a lot of older players, shall we say, the Fuchs and the Morgans, and we did all right without the the players that are probably were going to be without for the Africa Cup of Nations were players that were out this year for injuries, and when we still did all right.
Yeah, I mean, we lost and had to rearrange our shape and tactics completely when we lost the likes of Harvey Barnes out on the left. So I don't think it would worry Brendan or the lads too much to have to maybe reshuffle. Again, although nothing's concrete and we haven't got anyone actually concreted through the door, I'm sure with the strong rumours of the certain types of players we're heavily linked with and from more reliable tomato sources. If these players come in, obviously Brendan has an eye on these situations that are going to crop up because they happen. Is it every 2 years the African Cup of Nations happen? So that it's not something that it's not something the clubs are sprung on. So obviously we'll know the situation better come the end of August or whatever date it is the transfer window closes. I'm sure Leicester will be properly prepared for the time for that month where they're not available, these players, which is probably why we're linked with the certain players we are. I think that was quite shrewd by Scott to bring that up because it now makes even more sense why maybe get Eduardo, however you say his name, in from Celtic. Because if Iniacho's missing and he's on that sort of form he was on the end of the season, you want that in your squad as man in the front line as well as someone
Yeah.
to do an Indeedy job.
Scott, I mean, February, probably one of our hardest months.
Yeah, I'm just sorry. I'm listening to what Brad was saying. Yeah, it's going to be very tricky. Liverpool away. Hopefully, we can carry on with our away form from last season. So, if you're taking that into consideration, we could be quite well off. But the teams that we're playing, to be honest, I'd be happy with 5 points.
Yes, yeah, I agree on that one. Like I say, and looking at it, I just think that is probably our hardest month, especially as the teams we've got, and we're basing this on the fact that we will have fans back in the stadium. So hopefully we'll get back to doing well at the KP, but. Yeah, for February, like you say, let's just bring it back up here again. When you've got, the fact that Liverpool is away and Chelsea is away, and we didn't do that well against West Ham at home this season. So that is going to be a bit of a banana skin month. Moving into March and April. So March, we've got Leeds United at home, Arsenal away, Brentford at home, and April. Man United, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Tottenham Hotspur. Brad, for me, I don't think we could have I couldn't have picked this better myself if I'd tried.
No, you really couldn't. It's so ideal in a way, and obviously, again, we're all hypothetical in here. We don't know what state we're going to be in the league, but if you're looking at the club as Leicester, and you're a fan of Leicester, and you know what they're capable of doing and what they've done over the last few years, and you're looking at previous run-ins and how we've tailed off. You're looking at the run-ins, and I know obviously we still got May to go, and we're coming to that in a minute. But I looked at that instantly, and I checked it over a couple of times when I saw them this morning, and I thought, no disrespect to Spurs, but after Manchester United, which is like the first game in April, we have such a favourable running, which again causes pressure of expectations if they don't get the points. But after Manchester United, we really don't have on paper and expectations again a difficult 7 or 8 games to finish the season off. I am absolutely delighted with our last 3 months of the season. In what I'm expecting.
I mean, you've got Leeds United at home, and like I say, I don't know whether they can keep. I think there's a few players there. Phillips, I think, has probably earned himself a move to one of the big boys just on one game. But I would be looking at that, Brad, and I'd be saying 3, 6, possibly 7 points from those.
I'd be looking at 9. I mean, again, you take everything into account. If, and it's all ifs, ands, and buts and coconuts, but if fans are back in and Leicester continued their away form and with the crowd being back in, balance out that home form from last season, it's kind of the reverse of the month we've just reviewed, where we had 3 away games and 1 home game, which is why probably the most, I'd agree with you, February is the most worrying month for Leicester. The following month, though, to have them teams in that order, and not knowing, we could be far into Europa League as well at that time, to have them both at home.
And the FA Cup.
Yeah, and the FA Cup. You could, which potentially makes it 5 strong games. But I would argue that in the league, we could get 9 points from that. I don't see why that's not possible to do, providing Leicester aren't sat in a relegation battle and we are in Europe like we think we're going to be.
Scott, we're looking at April. We're starting off a away trip to Man United, home to Palace. You can see I'm reading this as it's going across the screen. Away to Newcastle, home to Villa, and ending with an away trip to Tottenham. Again, nicely spread out of what you would call tough and what you would call hard games.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
It's one of those where, if you look at the fixtures and where they're being played, in my honest opinion, if you don't get 10 points out of them fixtures, obviously depending on if we're still in the FA Cup, if we're in any other competitions, that would be my target for that particular month.
Yes. I mean, I just like I say, I don't think we could have picked it better ourselves. And then with everybody saying what a hard ending we had to the season this year with our ties, we've got it easy, haven't we, with the running, Brad?
Yeah, I mean, it's always advantageous when you're in your last 3 games, especially
10-0 at the end of the season there, isn't it?
I know, right? I mean, they're just gifting us on a plate. It's either that or it's going to be a customary Southampton win for them, isn't it? You know, we've been the last 2 times when it's come to the last game of the season. But yeah, you'd have to favour that. Like you said, Chris, we couldn't have. Well, I'm sure if someone's got a crystal ball, they'd pick the 3 teams that are relegated by this point to playing. But that you couldn't handpick anybody yourself. You got 2 home games against opposition. We tend to do fairly well against more than we don't. You've got Watford, who, if they're either, and let's face it, Watford are either already going to be safe by that point, or they're going to be down. So for me, you've got the best 3 games anyway, and you could see us, you know, all them times we've kind of had the fixture list kick us in the teeth, like it did last season, where we played Man U, Chelsea, Tottenham in our last 3 games. I think it'd been justifying, especially if it was that sort of scenario again where Leicester were in the mix in the top 4 sort of things, and they got the 3 wins and just ended up fairly comfortable in the top 4 instead of being, you know, Man City, Man United, and Arsenal last 3 games. It's quite pleasant to see for a change.
Yeah, I mean, Scott, we could be playing 2 of the bottom 3 there with Watford and Southampton, and knowing Watford, they could either be on the 3rd manager of the season or have no manager at all.
Yeah, definitely. You make a valid point on that. They are a team that is well renowned for having a revolver door when it comes to managers. Personally, I think they go down this season. It doesn't matter who they bring in. Southampton, you know, I think we'll get 9 points. Whether they'll get relegated or not, that'll be interesting to see. Be nice for it to happen on the last day of the season, but there we go. And Everton.
I don't want Southampton to go down because it's a home game for me. It's like half an hour down the road. So please don't get relegated, Southampton. 4th from bottom will do. You know, it's like I was in tears. I was more upset when Bournemouth got relegated than when Leicester did, because that was an even better home game for me. You know? But sorry, Brad, you were going to say then.
No, I was just saying they can stay up on goal difference. I'm not bothered. As long as we can beat them by a score, Billy keeps them up, I'm not bothered.
No. But overall, though, that's the fixtures, and we know they're going to get changed for what different reasons, for TV, and we do get, you know, the fact that we're a big club now. You know, we finished 5th 2 seasons running. We've won a Premier League. We've won an FA Cup. We've been in Europe for 2 seasons running. And the Europa League, you know, it's a difficult competition. Man United couldn't win it last season. So we are going to get a lot of TV coverage. And that is going to mean a lot of changes, even if the fans are back. But we've just got to live with it, haven't we, Scott? Like I say, it goes with the territory. But when you look at it, yeah, like I say, I don't think we could have picked a better, well, maybe Christmas, but apart from that, we couldn't have, you know, I don't think picked a better sequence of games for us.
No, like you're saying, apart from Christmas and obviously, I believe it was February as well. The run of fixtures that we've got through the whole of the season couldn't have worked out any better. It's one of those that, from a Leicester point of view, you've got to be very optimistic just on them fixtures alone. You know, hopefully that'll help us in our quest for getting further through the Europa League and potentially retaining our title with the FA Cup.
I don't know. I mean, somebody did say to me on one of the other channels, would we hold on to the FA Cup? Would we retain it? And that's easier said than done. But he did actually also say that he thought we could actually win the Europa League. Will this be the season, Brad? And we'll end on this, but will this be the season where Brendan finally ends his hoodoo of not being able to get past the round of 32 in Europe?
I mean, there's no reason why not. The way Leicester as a club on a whole have progressed, they've met every goal that the owners have set. Remember when they first came in, they said Leicester will want to be on track to get Leicester in Europe inside 5 years. I don't think they ever imagined they'd do it the way that they did it, but they eventually did it. If you look at when they actually took over, it actually did take 5 years for Leicester to get into Europe, and since then they've been building on that infrastructure. They've built within it, and I think that Leicester, I would agree with I believe it was Dan, didn't it, that said about Leicester winning Europa League would be a good shout. And I think I would love for us to go back to back and win our second FA Cup so soon after our first. But I think that maybe Leicester will now say, okay, that's the big job done. We've got the monkey off our back. Now let's get the other monkey off our back, which is Brendan getting past the knockout stages and showing our mental in Europe. I would like to see us. I'd be happy to do a treble. Let's win the league in December the way we predicted things.
We'll just go for the treble. Why not? I mean, I know you actually nearly burst into a bit of Kevin Keegan there. You "I'd love it" speech, but on that note, I think we realise you've been drinking again, and before you burst into another support for North Macedonia, I will say, Brad, thank you very much. Scott, thank you very much. Happy days with the fixtures. Cheers, buds. Thanks very much. Stay safe, both of you, and we'll chat soon.
Take care.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Take care.
Cheers. All the best.
Thanks. All the best.
Oh, I've got to wait now because
you get me for that. I knew you were going to do it. I saw my clock ticking and I was like, oh no, kept me in for the long. That's what happened to me brain with North Macedonia.
You've got a North Macedonian cuckoo clock. Brad, all the best, mate.
Yeah, and you,
take care. Cheers. Bye-bye. Right, well, we'll leave Brad with his cuckoo clock there and his North Macedonia fantasies. We won't go there. But yeah, I don't think any of us can actually say we should be upset with that series of games. I think it's the best we've had for a long time. I'm very optimistic going into that we can actually. I think it's falling into place for us to do something special next season. What that special is, who knows? But I'll tell you what we're doing special tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Give me 5 from Leicester Till I Die TV. Join in as we look at the good, the bad, and even the ugly of Leicester City with Chris and Chums.
From the good, the bad, or the ugly. It is give me 5. And what we're looking at tomorrow, Thursday, 7 o'clock, is the 5 most unpopular players at Leicester City ever. We're going to start with 21, and Craig is going to whittle it down to his top 5 in order. Will that gentleman that you see there be on it? Not just Gareth Bale that misses penalties, is it? Thanks very much, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the show. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 with Chat Chum Craig, and we're looking at those unpopular players. Stay safe. Good night now. See you tomorrow.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over.
It is now.
To an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.